who is Mateus? Yeah, so Mateus is a personal friend, and he has 12 years of experience as a physiotherapist and personal trainer, and has already spent more than 22,000 hours on one-on-one with clients and people who seek different kind of help with their physiotherapy and personal training needs. He's specializing on posture, bodybuilding, and nutrition. He merges physiotherapy with training for overall health and body transformation, enabling people to achieve significant enhancement in their physical and mental well-being. So he is a personal friend, and when I say that he is one of the best physiotherapists I ever met, I mean it. He has been giving me very painful massages ever since, which I'm trying to survive.
That's private.
Yeah, I enjoy it secretly, so I just accumulate all of these different kind of problems. So I think there is nothing else left to cover. Without further ado, the stage is yours. The pressure is on. Blow us away.
No pressure, just fun. Should I share my screen, or do you have it?
Yes, you can share your screen.
All right, cool. So let's see. All right, boom, boom. Cool. So first of all, thank you for coming. I see a couple of faces that I don't know personally yet, especially on this side over here. So I'm going to be happy to talk to you later. Thank you for anybody joining online. And I think today is going to be fun. Today is going to be the very cool, subject of physique transformation. So basically, a full story of zero to hero journey. If you're interested in physique transformations, building fat, building muscle, cutting fat, getting stronger. Hopefully not building fat. Getting how to start bulking and never stop bulking. Just get fat. No. How to get more energy, basically how to get stronger, leaner, but also from the perspective of health and functionality. So not just some, bullshit kind of advice from social media to kind of chase some kind of weird dreams and unrealistic images, but rather something that will bring you functionality, health, longevity, and everything what Limitless also stands for. So yeah. First of all, what I will ask you to do is, let's see if that works, is to focus. And I want this presentation to be as interactive as possible. So if you're curious about certain subjects, don't be afraid to interrupt, just raise your hand and just ask a question. Because this is not just presentation, I want it to be basically a conversation and a discussion, okay? So if you have any kind of questions, we will have special stops just for that, but if you have anything of what you're gonna ask, then just raise your hand and ask. Huh? Yeah. So that's one thing. Second thing is that research shows that if you make notes, if you ask questions, if you raise your hands and so forth, you are able to basically retain more information that you're getting. And I don't want this to be some kind of workshop or some kind of teaching where you will just receive information and then next thing you will just forget it. Okay? Because if you came here and you're listening and you use your time and then you will not use anything from what you learned today, then you actually learned nothing. And I want you to at least focus on one thing that you're going to take out from this presentation and use in your real life. If you're here, then you're interested in the subject, so hopefully you will get at least one thing, one takeaway that you will actually use. That's going to be the aim for today, okay? Yes?
Go.
Okay?
Okay.
Good, there we go, nice, awesome. So first of all, aim for today is to follow science and not trends, okay? So I like to consider myself somebody who is following that, like scientific research and practice and experience rather than basically following some kind of weird trends. And there's a lot of misconceptions around, physique transformations. So we're gonna try to cover that. And also we're gonna try to clarify and simplify the whole process, okay? So we're gonna learn how to build muscles most effectively. I think from guys, most questions I get is basically how to get fucking jacked. That's the most common questions. From girls, it's basically how to build glutes, how to have flatter tummy, strong back, and so forth. We're going to learn how to get rid of unwanted fat but following science. And number one fitness misconception of all time. What do you think that is? Not now. You will have time to answer that. We'll learn how to eat right. What does it mean, and how to simplify your nutrition, because a lot of people just don't want to use mental kind of capacity, time, and effort around that, and yet want to transform their bodies. So we're going to try to cover that. We're going to cover what kind of exercises you need, how much weight, sets, and so forth. How to increase your energy, not only the physical, but also the mental one. So that's going to be interesting because I think a lot of people in the room are either entrepreneurs or want to be entrepreneurs, and we all need better mental cognition, awareness, focus, energy, and so forth. And it actually relates to the subject today. We're going to learn about the genetics and how to max out your potential because we are all a little bit different. And basically just learn how to transform your physique, but also build it healthy in a healthy, functional as well way. So we stand for longevity and good health first and foremost. Okay. And for those of you who don't know me, Adam already introduced me a little bit, which is very nice. I know Adam for 5-6 months, and I think we became pretty good friends. And I also am a little bit fascinated by a story of Adam, which I think we're going to actually mention later on in his body transformation. It's kind of funny that you're hosting the event that is also about the thing that you just did the last 12 months. So that's very interesting. We're going to go back to that. But me personally, my name is Matt. I'm originally from Poland. I do live most of my life now in Norway, and my looks are confusing to many. I know. I look Norwegian, I speak Norwegian, but I'm not Norwegian. So that's that. I also went from 67 kilograms to 86 kilograms of my body weight. And I used to have broken back. So I used to have this accident. It broke my back, rib bones, crushed my foot, and damaged my body pretty heavily. And I was forced to build it up again, build the functionality, strength, mobility, and so forth, and also build a lot of muscle. And on top of that, I'm a master physiotherapist, manual therapist, and a personal trainer. You know that already, so we can skip that part. And one thing I want to kind of stress is that I think I have interesting angle on the physique transformations because I am a physiotherapist, manual therapist, and a personal trainer. So I look at it from perspective of function and health first, and then the appearance and all that stuff. And also I'm fascinated by how our mental states works and how does it affect our mental energy and cognition and so forth. So but first, a couple questions for you. We're going to start with a couple of rhetorical questions, so you don't need to answer those, okay? Then we're going to have a couple open questions, and then I want you to actually use your brain a little bit and see what we can come up with, okay? So first of all, did you know that simply by having more muscles, especially ladies, simply by having more muscles on top of your body, right? Like if you build the corset of muscles, whether that be just booty, like you usually want, or just in the back and arms and so forth, if you just have more kilograms of lean body mass on your fat percentage also goes down, okay? So a lot of ladies that wants to trim the body down, tone the body down, as they say, tone the body. The first step is actually to increase the muscle mass. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing is that the same thing actually helps you in some cases to survive cancer. So the reason behind that is that cancer is very damaging to the body, and just having more of the body will help you to survive in case of treatment. And statistically, unfortunately, some of you will have cancer, in this room, in the next couple of years. And the first thing you can do is to get jacked. So, yeah. There you go. That's a treatment for you. The way to fight cancer. Get jacked. Cool. Did you know that most of human beings, I mean you included, tends to eat only 7 to 9 types of foods every week, and that's it. So just 7 or 9 types of food. Some of you who has been part of the previous workshop about functionality of the body know that already. But just 7 types. So for example, for me that would be beef, chicken, rice, potatoes, a couple of veggies. I don't eat that much veggies. Some fruits, and then I will start to struggle to what I actually eat. And most of you also have that. You have 7-9 products that you habitually kind of choose, and just switching those and adjusting the amounts of it already transform into your body. So it's a lot of people have this confusion around food and nutrition, that it's so far away to create this beautiful system for you to transform your body perfectly. But it's actually not that necessarily difficult, and it's based in our habits, right? So to know that is only 7-9 types of foods actually helps. I need one person as a volunteer to answer exactly that. We're going to count basically the foods you're eating. Who wants to be a little rabbit? Raise your hand. You. All right, cool. What's your name, bro?
Peter.
Peter. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man.
Can you name types of food that you're eating. So for example, just
What is the type of food? Is it
Yeah,
like
so-
concrete? Because you mentioned like potatoes, which I feel like is one particular vegetable, and then you said fruits, which might be like hundreds of them. So what do
Yes.
you mean by type of fruit?
So to be more specific, right? I tend to eat, for example, like using my example, so that would be beef, like lean beef, chicken, rice, potatoes, and I eat veggies, for example, tomatoes, onions, and broccoli, and I will eat like apples and pineapples. But we will count that as one, like fruits in general, just some veggies. Maybe if you eat multiple different veggies, then you can count those. But if you can count like types of food that you are eating right now, you think?
Yeah, how shall I do it? I don't know, man. I
What
just
did you
go
eat today?
out. Okay, so today I had athletic greens, which is already 80 small superfoods, so we can do 80 there.
No, so types of food, like major portions of food that you're eating.
Oh, major. Then I had like eggs Benedicts, which I assume is eggs, some salmon, maybe
Salmon.
the little thing on bottom, the toast or whatever it is, brioche.
What,
And-
sorry? Bread.
No, the kind of brioche, like kind of bread, whatever.
Yeah, bready. Yeah.
Some white thing, yeah. And then
We're talking about the general groups of type of food, yeah?
yeah, then the sauce over it, Hollandaise sauce. Yeah,
Sauce.
right.
All right.
Maybe some veggies on the side were there. Then
Cool. What veggies?
Oh man, I don't remember. It's too much.
You look at- Are they green?
It was green, probably.
All right, green veggies.
And then some smoothie, so like mix of orange and apple and carrot.
Yeah.
Is that free or just one? Orange,
That's
carrot.
like 4. Okay, let's go. Like, what is your dinner usually?
Oh man, I don't know. Like just go out and like last night it was pizza, salad, and some tartar from salmon and
Yeah,
avocado.
so you have minced meat. Yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe some drink. Yeah,
A what? Drink?
yeah.
Yeah. Any potatoes, rice?
No,
No, you don't eat those.
I do. I eat everything, man. I eat completely everything.
Yeah. So as a habit, right now we mentioned like 5 groups, but basically like as a habit you will choose 7, 9 products and that's it.
Okay.
So just modulating a little bit of those and adjusting like the portions of it, like it helps tremendously in like designing the full system. Okay. Because over here today we're going to try to design like a simplified system for perfect nutrition to transform your body. Okay. Now here we want to focus on the thing that builds muscle, reduces fat. Okay. Cool. Let's just proceed. Did you know that weightlifting regularly helps to normalize hormones in your brain, as well as prevent some neurological diseases as Alzheimer's or Parkinson's? So if you have, like, for example, in family, somebody who is sick, who knows, if there's like some genetic potential, the first thing you need to do is to get jacked again. Or rather, the process of lifting helps to prevent some of those diseases. So that's very cool as well. And also helps prevent or fight anxiety, depression, and so forth. So it's also pretty cool. Now, question for you: how many hours do you think? That's open question, so you can answer. How many hours do you think you need a week to actually radically transform your body?
3 to 5. 5 hours.
5 hours. 5 hours. Anybody else have different ideas?
I think I could go with 4.
4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Does it
basically
include cooking, nutrition, or everything, or it's just
Yeah.
for working out?
everything.
10 hours.
10 hours.
6.
6 hours. How many hours are in a week, you think?
168.
Exactly. Do you think 5 hours is a lot in a week?
No.
Depends for what.
Check your phone and screen time. What is it? Check your phone right now. I'll check mine.
10 hours per day.
Fucking 20 hours.
I work with my phone.
I have 2 hours.
It's not TikTok.
Yeah, I'm low on that.
2 hours.
2 hours. The average, not today.
Average.
3 hours, 18 minutes.
2.5 hours.
5 hours.
Oh no, 2.5.
On average.
Somebody on social media.
Almost 3 hours.
10 to 12. Yeah, that's your work though, so it's a little bit different. Okay, my point is that actually doesn't take that much time off your week. What you need is a simplified system around body transformations. So if you're interested in building more glutes, let's say, or redesigning your body a little bit, if you want to get jacked, if you're a dude, then it doesn't take necessarily that much time. A lot of people think it takes tremendous amount of time and effort, and it's not necessarily the truth. You need the right system that is simplified, and you have everything in it, rather than just overloading it with tons of cardio, tons of working out, and just using too much time. Do you think that physique transformations are just about looks? What else?
Functionality.
Physique transformations. Yeah. Cool.
Mindset.
Mindset. Okay. What do you mean by that?
So when you start to transform your body, it's not just your body that's changing, because as you start to change things, the way that you think also starts to change.
Yeah.
And if the way that you think doesn't change, you won't change physically, because then you'll just keep falling on the bad habits that you already have.
Yeah. Any other ideas? Get the mic.
Yeah,
Adam, check chat, please.
I noticed that when I'm working out or I'm physically active, my dietary choices usually shift naturally, and I usually wouldn't crave. It depends. If I'm working out a lot and I'm say very aerobic, then I may crave more food, but I typically want healthier foods.
Yeah, more cleaner choices,
Yeah,
right?
cleaner choices.
You're more
typically.
conscious about your body
Yeah.
and your nutrition, and that translates also to your mind and quality of your thoughts. And then the quality of your thoughts transfers into what you're doing every day, and what you're doing every day creates your life. So if you're in a shit position, it's your fault, sorry. And the first thing you can do is basically take care of your nutrition and training. And that's my whole point. Yeah, but that's a good answer. Perfect. Any other answers? Yes, bro?
I think for body transformation, your sleep patterns should be changing as well
Hell yeah.
for recovery.
Hell yeah, we're going to cover that because that's a big one.
I think that it also helps with discipline and being organized. If you go to
Exactly.
the training the same time and like the same schedule,
Yeah.
then it also helps you in your business.
Yeah, it develops certain characteristics. And I have like a real quick example from my own personal life. I am a body practitioner and a coach, but I'm also a real estate investor. I started some years ago. I'm fascinated by this world as well. And I can tell you for a fact that me being in shape helped me to make better connections, network, and get actually some deals done. And I have this story where I went to England from Norway, and I basically went to this networking meeting, and everybody started to recognize me. At that time, I was a little bit bulking. Took a nice suit, and I came into this room full of high quality, investors, and I was kind of the pretender. And so many people approached me and oh my God, your physique, blah, blah, blah. And then I end up doing business just based on that. And also currently I have 3 partners in real estate business, and all of them I got through basically physique transformations actually. So for me personally, it's the physique transformations, it's even more important because it's a way also to network with people, to connect, and to gain this kind of respect from others, as well as trust. So if you show up at the top level of your form, you take care of your body, you also, what you communicate is that you are respecting yourself, you demand that respect, and people will give it to you, as well as they will gravitate towards you much more. And that will give you better life in general. So definitely much more than just looks. And also, on top of that, we already learned, prevents the neurological diseases, or helps at least. It activates metabolism. Who here know what metabolism means? Actually, because everybody just throw this term, but what does it mean? Metabolism, metabolic rate. What is that? Yeah, exactly.
Should I say it again?
Yeah,
Okay, so I think it's how fast you perceive the food,
exactly.
digest
So
it.
yeah, exactly. So metabolism is basically the process where your body is dissecting the food that you're putting in your mouth and splitting it into smaller pieces that your body can use on a cellular level. So basically rebuild your body. And every 7 years, you're a full brand new human. So there's no more old cells in you every 7 years. So you basically recirculate yourself. So training properly as well with resistance training helps with doing that. Also stimulates dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, so it boosts your anxiety level. I mean, reduces it, yeah, also affects your depression and stuff like that. I live in Norway for the most part, although I think I just moved out. But in Norway, there's #1 problem is the mental health, and it's related to lack of vitamin D and sunlight and so forth. And yeah, the #1 thing that you will see when you come to Norway is that a lot of people just train always. There's so many fit people in Norway. I've never seen a country like that. It's 80% of people go to the gym almost every day or every second day. It's crazy. And they say that, we are healthy. It's just no, I think it's desperation from just running away from depression, to be honest. So yeah. Cool. Yes, increases the chance of survival of cancer. It increases bone density, and especially among ladies, prevents osteoporosis. Ladies have this tendency to get osteoporosis, which means that your body, your bones gets weaker with time, and unfortunately, later on, you are more likely to break some bone and even die from it at the older age. There's a lot of people at advanced age that just fall, break the bone by the hip, and yeah, and they die actually. So kind of cool to actually work on the density of the bones as well. It increases energy levels and increases your mental cognition. It allows you to stay leaner. The more muscle mass you have, the easier it is to stay leaner also when your metabolism starts slowing down as you age. So if you don't want to be older, slow moving, slow thinking, a little bit fatty person, then you'll make sure that you have good routines. Yeah, truest. I wrote this very beautifully. I'm proud of myself. It's the truest form of self-love, self-respect, and self-care. And I think so. If you are not in shape, I think that you're also communicating to the world what you think of yourself. And you allow your insecurities or fears to basically, show in a sense. So I'm not hating, it's just, I think that's just a fact. So, next one. Yes, that's one important. Testosterone among men. Recent years shows that men actually have less and less testosterone. There's multiple factors for that, but generally speaking for guys, it sucks. Because the sex drive drops, the mental clarity, the resilience, everything drops. Like your muscle mass will drop, you develop certain diseases and so forth. The simplest way to increase testosterone is not by taking some fake supplements, but actually lifting heavy circles regularly at the gym or your own body. But it helps with just heavy load on your body. And not having testosterone for men is actually super risky and super bad idea in general. Cool. Another one that is important, correct posture, correct energy, like the mental capacity again, not being tired in your neck, being able to work longer, being able to live longer without pain and tensions and so forth as well. I can tell you from my experience, so many people come to me throughout the last 10 years that spent a lot of money on different treatments, on fixing pains, tensions, trying to get more energy. They use this supplement and whatever. And it's actually funny because the real solution is just so simple. You just need to move your body more with mobility exercises as well as weight training. Eat a little bit better, sleep better, and this is it. And you save so much money. And for most of you over here, you're very young. And you don't understand that you will live for the next 40, 50, 60 years maybe even more. And the quality of your life, it goes down if you don't actually take care of your body, right? And you only start to appreciate your body once you lost your health. And I can tell from my own experience, when I broke my back, it sucked so freaking much. I couldn't walk, right? Imagine you wake up and you cannot walk, right? It sucks. I did it a couple times actually. So yeah, important. Improves sex drive, libido, why not? That's a bonus. Drastically improves sleep quality if you have trouble with sleeping. That's good as well. Skin. Those who knows me, just keep silent. How old am I, you think?
36.
Damn.
36.
There goes my point.
Did I nail it or what?
I was supposed to be see, I am actually much older than I look. And then all right, this argument didn't went through very well. That's all right. I'm 34. That's perfect. All right, next slide.
I think I said 28.
You said 28, yeah. That's good. Yes, helps you make more money and find better quality partner. So when you show, especially for guys, I think it's not about that you're more jacked. It's about that you show self-respect and you kind of take care of your own stuff. That is more attractive as well. So yeah.
But couldn't that also be linked, same as your example with you and your real estate? Same as your example with you and your real estate thing, couldn't that also be because lifting weight and going to the gym and taking care of yourself builds a strong and disciplined inner voice that reassures you and that like you love yourself and you have the confidence in yourself. Because I feel like that when you take care of yourself, you have such a strong inner voice that reassures you and becomes your biggest motivator, that you can like also find or easier make connections with women you like. Or I mean,
Yeah, let me ask you a different question, because I think everybody agrees that that's the case. But why do you think 95% businesses fail? Hmm? Then don't do exercise. They are not jacked.
They don't have a plan. The founder is not jacked.
They don't have a plan. They're not jacked. No, what? Other reasons?
There's no discipline and consistency.
There we go. Are there other ideas?
They run out of money.
Run out of money. Do you think money is the issue?
Mental.
Do you actually think there's scarce of money in the world? Money is not even real. It's literally fucking.
Oh, now we're going deep.
Yeah, we're not going to go there.
Oh, we can have this discussion.
Yes. All right, let's keep it to the closer to the subject. But basically, my point, I've been fascinated by this. I started a couple of companies myself, a couple of food companies, a real estate company, and a couple of other failure companies, and. One thing when you start to study successful people is that you see that they think a little bit differently. They have this mental awareness that is a little bit different. They have a structure over there. There's also mental cognition element. And on top of that, they're building different business disciplines and processes on top of that. What we usually see on social media is you're being sold some kind of course about, let's say, how to sell Facebook ads or whatsoever, which is the process to make money, but it's not based on foundations. And there's a lot of ideas for businesses that they're actually pretty good ideas, but never see the fruition because the individual behind it is lacking certain structure, like mental structure, discipline, and so forth. And most businesses fail because of the individual, not because of the business idea itself. And I think it's kind of interesting that people see still physique transformation or training as a side quest in life, rather than the way to proceed in life and build the foundations, the mental one especially, the thing that you said, like the consistency, the discipline, the staying true to what you said you're going to do, delayed gratification, and so forth. But we can talk about it for 3 hours, so let's skip it, let's go. But I think you will agree with me. And I think it's an interesting point in terms of motivation, when you ask yourself, why would you bother? Well, that's why. So yeah, cool. All right, who's ready to actually get down to the real stuff? Yay.
Let's go.
All right, good. Part one, the most difficult part one, the most important part one. I put it in the beginning because your focus will be the biggest right now. At the beginning of the presentation, as the time goes, it will kind of fade away. So this is the most important part. If you are interested in physique transformation, there's no possible way. And in matter of fact, if you're interested in improving your sleep, your performance, your strength, your endurance, build muscle, burn fat, and all of that, there's no way that you can skip the nutrition part. It's just not possible. You cannot guess it. You cannot just swipe on Google and just try some random shit and expect to actually see any kind of real results, okay? So if you just understand this part, then you're definitely down to have a great result with your body. But the issue is that it's confusing, right? So let's build a simple system, step by step, that will work for each one of you. Because the thing is that it doesn't exist like one diet or one system for each one of you. Each one of you is a little bit different. We have different genetic potential. We have different lifestyles. We have different likes and dislikes and so forth. But there's a couple of numbers and couple overarching principles that you can use and everybody can use to build the system that you can then reuse again and again and again to build your dream body. All right? Cool. So what are the common issues with food, with nutrition? What kind of thing is stopping people? What stops you guys from nailing it? If you have that issue, maybe you're perfect. But let's say that you're not. Let's say that you want to achieve some kind of different body, and you're like, this nutrition thing is I don't have time. It's difficult. It's confusing. What are the questions you might have? What are the issues?
I have a love and hate Love and hate relationship with croissants. I love them so much.
Yes.
But my body
It's a
doesn't
toxic
really.
relationship. I know it. I have the same thing with the pastry with like chocolate inside.
Pain au chocolat is a hard one as well. So I do eat very well in most of the days, but then there's that cookie or that croissant
I know
that
for a fact
sneaks
that
in.
you're very good with food. Yeah. Yeah.
But still, I don't feel like I'm doing enough.
Yeah, but you're very conscious about your eating, and then plus the cookies.
Yes.
Cool. Any other issues we might have?
So I have this, I wouldn't call it a real problem because it has worked during my fitness, like 2 years of gym participation. And I have built a lot of lean muscle mass, but I think it held me back still, which is I don't know the vocabulary, but I eat the same thing every day to make the process of deciding what to eat easier. So I have not a big, I don't change my food, and I think I'm lacking a few micronutrients or like.
That's possible. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I could have probably gotten a bit more progress done if I cared about that.
Yeah.
But I feel like it takes away so much thinking about what to eat.
So let's talk about one thing real quick, okay? Because we all here are interested in better performance, okay, in whatever you do in your life. And there's this thing that you have certain, I call them like willpower points throughout the day, right? And there's like hundreds points, let's say, right? Just for theoretical purposes. And every time you make a decision, you take 1 point or 2 points, right? And the bigger decision, the more confusing, the more points you use. The less points per day you have, the worse the decision will be. That's why it's so much easier to, after a long day, start binging Netflix and order pizza. You're less capable of making right decisions, right? The more you can streamline the whole process of training and nutrition and sleep and so forth, the easier it is to actually withstand that. And that's the whole, this presentation is about that, to basically introduce you to the idea that you need to build a system around your nutrition and training and keep it consistent and easy to use rather than confusing yourself multiple times. And if every day you need to choose like a new, okay, yesterday I ate this and today maybe I'll eat this, what should I or not, and calculate that and all that, it's just tiring, right? You're not gonna stay consistent. So yeah. Any other issues?
Well, I'm based in Prague. So I'm based in Prague usually, and the national cuisine is like not super healthy. Like, so
I
if you
love
just
your cuisine.
go to restaurant, it would be just like, you're from Poland, so
Yes.
you would have like a duck and gravy and
It's
a beer,
insane.
and like that's what everybody eats all day,
Yes.
and something fried and like whatever. That's
Yeah.
that's the basics. So like, for example, living healthy here in Bali, I found so much easier, right? I was in Uluwatu before, Bamboo Gym, right next to it. You could like choose only the healthiest things. You already have all the macros set on the menu. You can easily count your calories. All this kind of stuff is very easy.
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm quite busy during the time. So I have no time to cook. So I end up like spending breakfast and lunches and dinners and everything somewhere in restaurants where I have no idea what I'm eating, honestly. And so it's also hard for me to count the calories. I think I understand the basics of what I would need to do nutritionally, like the macros, the calories, and all this kind of stuff that maybe you'll cover as well. I just find it hard to actually implement in practice. And then maybe similar, like what you said, like sometimes I tend to have this trouble of like when I get too much stress or something, I don't really feel it that much, but I like the comfort food, I'm able to like in the evening, if it was like kind of stressful that without realizing it, I would just like open a fridge and eat like the whole box of Häagen-Dazs ice cream or whatever, which is probably like 1,500 calories, and then like it shows the next day, right? So for me, I don't have a problem with like disciplining myself to like going to gym and doing everything else in business, but just the nutritional thing, I think I've been ignoring for some time, and like with age, your metabolism slows maybe a little bit down, so I feel like that's something I actually need to address more and more. So I'm curious about how to actually solve it for busy people, because like I don't. I'm not gonna cook for 3 days, 3 hours per day, man. I mean,
well,
that's just
perfect.
not gonna happen.
That's why you're here, actually, or that's at least the aim, or make an introduction to how you can actually do that. Exactly, that's my point. Two things. Like, first of all, do you think that you craving sugar is just because you're like in the mood, or do you think that your body has biological need for it?
Craving sugar?
Yeah, when you're extremely like stressed, you work a lot, it's late in the evening, you have this like, something sweet. Why?
I think it's for sure it's the psychological comfort you get out of it. The comfort food, like it launches all these like feels good. Yeah, it like triggers all these feel good emotions afterwards. You know, why do fix things? You know, like kids run around and like you give them a candy and they're happy. You know, so it just works. You know, like you know, you take a chocolate and like it makes you happy, man. Like this always works. You know, this always works. But I think it's also sometimes because like during the day you sometimes like run around and you like have like some smaller meals, and I found like if you don't actually get enough calories during the day, then it's gonna catch you up and you're gonna overeat later on. So like if you know I try to like sometimes it's too healthy, but I don't count calories to be honest. I was talking about it the other day with my friend that really knows how to do this. I would love to learn it on a higher level just to know like my base metabolism, all this kind of stuff with how much I work out. And sometimes I feel like I would eat like not too much during the day, like a salad over lunch. I eat pretty clean, but then I think I would like be eating only like 1,500 calories. And it comes evening and I'm like so hungry.
Yes.
And I just like go for it for 9 p.m. and just like
so
whatever.
My argument basically behind what I'm asking about the sweet stuff, and I don't think it's a small thing. I think it's actually very important also for mental health. Because there's a lot of people that have a lot of like self-negative talk around nutrition if they if they told themselves I'm gonna eat this clean, and then suddenly they just break off and then just go fucking mental and go like pizza, chocolate, or everything at once, right? Or girls maybe like will go for like chocolate, right? And suddenly fucking eat the whole bar, right? Which is impressive. But the reason I want to kind of touch on this real quick, because the negative talk doesn't necessarily help, and it helps to understand that it's actually embedded in your genetics and your biology. So what I mean that is that, did you know that 20% of whatever you burn throughout the day usually goes from your brain is using that, right? And it feeds off of glucose. And your brain needs that booster. If you used a lot of your mind, you're more likely also to reach out, because your brain understands, like it reads basically like almost like AI kind of tool, what kind of food it's in front of you. And if it reads it as sugary stuff, then it wants it. So there's like biological reason behind that. And I think it's also important to like touch on, because some people, like I mentioned, are very self-critic and have very bad thoughts about themselves if they lack the discipline. But it's actually, you don't have to be that hard on yourself. You just need to understand it. And also, if you don't have enough, especially women, if you don't have balanced, correct intake of fats, healthy fats, then or protein as well, then you will naturally gravitate toward those like extreme choices. And it's not you who is lack of discipline, it's your body is switching to panic mode. So it's important to understand that you need to deliver the proteins and fats before, and then you suddenly like realize that, yeah, you might still want to have a little bit of chocolate because you like it, but it's not going to be like crazy. It's going to be like, a little bit, right? Which is fine. As long as it's not like more than 20% of your diet, then it's fine, right? So kind of wanted to touch on that. Any other issues real quick?
I can see. I think that my biggest issue is that I end up eating the same food every day. Because even I go out, I see the dish, I know that like it's like this is my favorite dish in this place, and I'm thinking maybe I should try something new, but then like maybe it's not as good as the one I eat all the time. So I end up choosing the same and the same.
Or function.
The taste and the function as well.
Yeah.
So like for me it's fine, but sometimes because I eat the same thing over and over, after that I'm like, maybe I need to change something in my life, and then I go to gelato.
Then you go to gelato. So it's either healthy salad, so it's either like a healthy like a bowl, or gelato. Yeah. Yes.
So for me, it's the opposite. I'm a foodie.
Yep.
I love variety in meals. I crave really amazing flavors and combinations. And I just realized when I have to prepare the meals myself, I spend 1 or 2 hours in the kitchen. And that is impossible to do every day. I tried meal prep. I found it very helpful, but then I got bored and I dropped it again. So that's my challenge.
Perfect. So what I'm trying to sell you, because I am trying to sell you something, an idea today around nutrition, okay? And that idea is strikingly simple, but it will require a little bit of work from you up front, and then it will pay you dividends the rest of your life. So it's a little bit like with real estate. When you build your portfolio, you have to build a building, renovate it, rent it out, refinance it. There's a lot of processes, a lot of work, oftentimes like from the morning to the evening. But once it's set up, you can you can fly to Bali and just eat gelato. And it pays you dividends again and again and again. And kind of the same is with designing your system for your food, okay? So whenever I work with somebody in terms of like transforming their body, we need to work on a system that will actually work for them. And you want to design this one system and just follow it. And you need to allow some food swaps, otherwise psychologically there's even done research on that. You will simply not withstand a diet. That's why diet, generally speaking, does not work. It just doesn't. Changing the way you eat in terms of your system does work. So yeah, cool, let's proceed. So some of the stuff that I hear oftentimes is basically that eating right is complicated, not very clear, not sure what to eat exactly. Like, mind you, we are still talking about physique transformations, right? Not just to feel good, but also like transforming your body. So if you actually want to build those glutes, if you want to, have a flatter tummy, or build more jacked physique, if you're a guy, all that, we are talking from this kind of like angle right now, right? Not just strictly health, but also how to transform your body. So it's a little bit different than just health, right? Like if you want to transform your body, you actually need to deliver the thing that will build that body. So it's a little bit different then. Yep. There's a lot of people that struggle to gain healthy weight. They're just skinny and they seems to just not be able to gain the weight, no matter how much they eat, they say. Some people are struggling to remove the fat from their body or have slow metabolism, and no matter how much they diet, they still struggle with that. They don't have time to prepare meals. They don't have appetite. They don't really want to prepare meals, right? They don't want to use time. Very relatable.
I want to, I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
I enjoy when I do it.
Who has time for that? No, for real. And also my genetics are different. So again, like, do you want to know the system? Because maybe you don't. So do you want to know the exact system, how to do it?
No,
because
no.
the next section. But it's a little bit like, great because I can show it to you, but it's a little bit downside because you actually have to work mentally. Okay, so it's a bummer. You actually have to use your brain a little bit.
Go for it.
Yeah, and it's going to be, it's basically what I'm introducing is a concept where you will use it for next 2 to 4 weeks, right? To adjust everything that you do, to then create a simplified system. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. I'm far from it myself. There's always like periods and up and downs in terms of like your nutrition, training, and so forth. It's totally fine. But basically, if you would have like a default system that works for you, that you keep being healthy, functional, you have nice amount of muscle mass, that the way you want it, you don't get too fat, you have great energy, you sleep well, all that stuff, right? So the next couple of slides will be a little bit more to digest. But the good thing is that that's the only part of presentation that is like hard to like grasp for some of you. For some of you, it's kind of obvious. So sorry, you will have to kind of like just be patient, and maybe you can check if your foundations are correct. All right, cool. So first of all, if you design that kind of system to transform your body, again, not just health, but also transforming your body or physique, then first of all, what do we need to do? What do you think? The first step, okay, let's design the system to actually, design, simplify it and streamline. First thing you need to do is you need to collect data, okay? There's no way you can design that system if you did not collect data. You need to understand your habits, the psychology behind what your choices, and the typical like stuff that you do every day. So first of all, you need to track your food. And it sucks for most people don't want to do it, and I'm not asking you to do it, but I'm asking you to do it for just a short amount of time. For just 2, 3, 4 weeks, you do it as an experiment just to learn about your favorite foods. So like I mentioned before, there's no point of putting people, from my experience, on special meal plans, diets, and so forth. Some like it, but like 90% people just don't really use it. And the reason behind it is people think it's fucking boring, right? Rightfully so, in a sense. But basically, if we can calculate your calories one time and you can understand your favorite foods one time, and basically have a couple of days of like perfect nutrition for your physique transformation, then you can actually be like, okay, this is what I need to do. Cool. And then you can basically navigate every day, right? And if someday you want gelato a little bit extra, then it's fine. But the next day you understand what's your default, right? So let's talk about the default. And the first step is, unfortunately, you will have to use a tracker for your food, because a lot of people don't actually understand what they're eating. So most of you don't really know, if you never tracked before, what you are actually eating. So in terms of calories, macros, and so forth, okay? Do you know what macros is? Everybody? Does everybody know what macro elements means?
Protein, fats,
Carb.
carbs.
Yep. Cool, so you basically need to learn that, okay? And then from there, so basically what I'm asking you to do is you're gonna track your food for just a little bit. You're gonna use an application like LiveSum, MyFitnessPal, and so forth. And you're gonna track what you eat. You're gonna collect your data, okay? But just for a short period of time. And then we're gonna adjust it to your needs and basically create a simplified system for you to actually transform your physique. And there's no other way to do it. If you're interested in like transforming your physique and you're not interested in like mediocre like results, because you can also just like gut feel it, right? You're like, I think I need more of this, and you eat it, and then you're like, train a little harder, a bit more gelato today. You know, you can kind of wing it, but your results also will be like this. What I'm talking about here is the guaranteed step-by-step process to actually transform your body effectively, okay? So if you don't want it, if you just want to wing it, go, but the results also will be accidental for the most part. So also, how does it make you feel? Are you slow? Are you bloated? Are you foggy? All that will also, you need to pay attention to basically what you eat, okay? For just a couple of days, and then design a system around it for the next couple of weeks. Cool, so for those of you who maybe don't fully like understand macros, I know that most of you think that there's like proteins, carbs, and fats. You have a question?
I have a question about how to track it. I mean, if I'm in a restaurant, how should I know what I'm eating? It's
So-
not written anywhere.
No. So basically, in terms of like eating out, so you do your best at estimate. Okay, maybe I didn't explain one thing that is, I think, very important. So I think we all can agree that tracking your food sucks and it's boring.
Yes.
Who here thinks that it's exciting and awesome? One person, all right. I mean, two. I actually think it's kind of fun and game, so I kind of actually like it from most of the time. I track myself like a couple days a week, that's it. But the thing is that you just ask a question that's very important. So how do you know what you eat when you're eating out?
Yes.
How would you know? Well, how would you know? Well, first you need to calculate some of the stuff. And then basically if you would put in front of me like a meal, I will tell you exactly what it is in terms of macros and calories, right? And I will have it in the back of my head. I will know more or less how much it is. And it will be pretty precise because I've done this so long time in terms of calculating food that I start to see those patterns, right? And after a while, it's super easy to actually get that feeling. But you're not able to get that feeling straight away if you did not learn about this food in the first place. So that's why I'm talking about this period of like 2 to 4 weeks. You need to learn about the foods you're automatically choosing, and then you understand them on a deeper level, and then you go to the restaurant, you choose something similar, right? So for example, pizza and bread, it's kind of similar on the macro element, for example, right, and the calorie level. And then you start building this database in your head and automatically can scan things around you and know what it is. And then it's the same story. So when you track, you will use your phone to track the food, and also, yes, you will need to use a kitchen scale. But please understand that you have ahead of you, what, 50, 60 years of life, right? Hopefully. Do this once,
So
and the rest of your life is simplified. What?
You bring it to the restaurant, the kitchen scale, and you start like...
No, you scale it, and then you have like an
No.
approximate...
No, you don't bring a scale. You do it at home. Next time you're in a restaurant, you more or less know. You don't bring it to a restaurant, no.
I just got some input. So when you're at, say, a restaurant and you're ordering a meal, if you're ordering steak or chicken, either the menu is going to say how many ounces there are, or you can ask, how many ounces, and they calculate in ounces here. And in grams.
I think that a lot of times when you go to...
Yeah, so you'll ask, your meat, and then typically, like, there's size comparisons, like, 8 ounces is like the size of your palm with steak and things like that. So
you can eyeball it eventually.
You eventually, but ask first, and then they'll let you know how many grams, your meat is, and then you'll be able to put that into, like, MyFitnessPal, and then put that in, and then you'll have a general idea of what your calories are in your grams.
My friend, he said, like, I can eyeball it now, but, like, how to get to that kind
So
of
that's what
ability to eyeball it.
This is step one, right?
Yeah.
So we have step-by-step guides over here, right?
Okay.
And this is the most chunky one. Just bear with me, okay? Just like focus.
All right.
Like just no, not shut up, but just like focus. It's difficult sometimes to know what restaurants also put into their foods, because sometimes they will put a sauce that is way much more calorie rich and so forth. But generally speaking, as you mentioned before, that as you train more and you're more conscious about your body, you actually start reducing those things. You don't crave it that much. You don't want that extra teriyaki sauce with extra sugar on top. You kind of like, maybe without that and so forth. So it gets a little bit easier. But my point is that once you calculate a little bit at home, scale it using kitchen scale, and you do it for a while, then you go out and then you understand what you're actually eating. While, for example, right now you're going to go there and I will ask you how much is the calories, how much is protein, how much fat, and you will have no idea. And whatever estimates you will have, it will suck. There's actually a research, I think I have it in this presentation, that states that people are extremely bad at guessing how much how much they're eating, like very bad. So you have to calculate, you have to understand, you have to build this library. And if you can do that for freaking 2 to 4 weeks, depends on your cognition, and know how many foods you're eating, the rest of your life is streamlined in terms of nutrition. So it's kind of worth it to actually do it. It's an investment. One time, just suck it through and then just get the benefit out of that, right? And it's actually not that freaking complicated. It's really not. And a lot of like fitness programs and companies makes it way much more complicated than this. Anyway, we have different macro elements: proteins, carbs, and fats, and we have 3 different types of proteins for the theoretical kind of like purpose. And for you to understand, we have pure proteins, proteins with fats, and protein with carbs. Okay, pure proteins: chicken, breasts, white fish, powder, isolate. Although try to eat just food, nothing processed if you can. Tuna, egg whites, tofu, stuff like that. With fats, you have salmon, eggs, steaks, and so forth. You can read. Protein with carbs: atlas, beans, chickpeas, kidney beans, black beans, lentils, tempeh, right? All that you like to eat. Atlas is vegetarian, correct? Plant-based.
But I cheat with croissants.
All right, cool. That's okay. So croissants, that's carbs. And everybody understands carbs: oats, rice, potatoes, pasta, bready stuff, fruits, vegetables, and so forth. Fats, I don't have to explain that one. Now, there's one misconception that we're gonna, I'm curious actually. Do you think that if you eat a lot of fats that you get fat? No. Ooh, people are conscious of it here. That's good. A lot of people that I used to work with in Norway, they're like, yeah, that's why I reduce all my fats from my diet. And then they're surprised why their health parameters suddenly drop, and their sleep sucks, and their menstruation cycle is off the charts, and they lack testosterone. So yeah, cool. Let's proceed. So real quick, and like I said, just focus with me, just maybe 1 more 2 minutes on this one. Proteins, it's super understand that it is the safest calorie you can eat. So if you're in doubt, you will choose protein, especially the clean one. As research shows, even going crazy with amounts of proteins you eat, like the clean proteins, if you would go 5 times what you actually need, your body still is kind of able to tolerate that, which does not necessarily happen with carbs or fat. So, and also oftentimes proteins are very satiating kind of calorie, which means that makes you full, which means you need less food per day. Okay, a lot of people are like, I eat so little and I'm still hungry. And it's like, do you? Or do you choose not satiating foods? And then you eat a lot of that and you're still hungry and then you get fat. There's a difference. Cool. Fats have more calories per each gram. And for ladies especially, do not drop down on fat in your food no matter what you do. Never do that, especially girls. You need fat, you need good fat, not cookies. You need avocado, olive oil, fish oil, and so forth to actually have healthy body. It's not possible for you to maintain your menstruation cycle and generally a healthy hormone system without it. For guys, we had one dude over here a couple of weeks ago that went on body transformation and he reduced radically fat in his diet without knowing what he's doing. And he basically ended up in a doctor with extremely low testosterone at a very young age, and that's basically because he only ate super lean beef with no fat, right? Or as little fat as possible. And for guys, we produce testosterone out of fat. You need fats in your diet. Do not go low-fat diet ever, like ever. Carbs, I don't have to explain too much about it. Tastes great, great energy source, and so forth. A lot of people have this conception, maybe some of you still have it, that you need to be on a low-carb diet to be lean. Nice, conscious people over here. Who here thinks that it's still the case? And nobody will raise their hand right now. But basically, no, you don't have to be on a low-carb diet to be lean. You actually need carbs. It's a great energy source. Now we're going to talk about in a second who should have carbs, who should not have carbs. And yeah, in about 5 minutes, hopefully we're going to go through the most beefy like content. We'll see. Basically, you need fat. Don't go on very low fat diet. For most people, low carb diet or keto diet is a bad idea. You will not withstand it. And yeah, it will fuck with you in a sense that you will have the yo-yo effect, bounce up and down with your body weight and with your moods and with your performance. It's a bad idea, okay? Most people, like 95% people, just healthy amounts of fats. We're going to talk in a second how much, proteins and carbs, and you just roll with it. Question? No.
You just said that we're going to move into the... You just said that we're going to move into how much protein, fats, and carbs we should eat. So yes. I'm going to wait with the question.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool. So, yeah, like I said, protein is super safe. Although research shows, it's a brand new research, not this one, but the other one, that shows that actually bodybuilding world and fitness world was wrong for the past forever, where everybody was always saying that you need quite a bit of grams of protein in your diet per kilograms of body weight to build actually muscles. What they found out, it's actually not necessarily the case, but because it's safe calorie, we will still use it, okay? So like I said, you can still have very high dosage of proteins. And who here knows what protein does in our body, actually? Why do we need protein?
Repair muscles.
Repair muscle.
It's a building block of our bodies.
Exactly, exactly. So our body, in the process of metabolism, chops up proteins into amino acids. Amino acids are built as a bricks in our body, basically. So if you want healthy ligaments, if you don't want irritation, if you don't want, if you want to build muscle, if you want to burn fat as well, it's all necessary. You need high dosage of proteins. And most of people who do not track proteins simply eat too little. If you never tracked, most likely your protein intake is too little to develop different physique, and it's just never going to happen. You can go to the gym 5 times a week, train super hard for 2 hours, and it's just not going to simply happen. You will only develop irritations, inflammations, and different problems because simply you're not eating enough the bricks that your body is built of.
So based on what you just said, the question about how much per, let's say, per body mass we should eat of protein, and men, women, and also there's a lot of misconceptions and myths about protein synthesis for a person, because there's a lot of people saying, oh, you could eat 200 grams of protein a day, but your body is able to synthesize 150, let's say. So what is your take on this?
So let's stay by the science, not what I think, for example, or let's not follow trends and something like that. So let's not use time on that. What actually is correct is that, you're going to love this answer, it depends. So we humans are not actually the same at all. One human can be very different than another one, although we have genetic potential genetics are quite similar, but how we use those genes are a bit different. So a good example would be, for those of you who watched Game of Thrones, the mountain guy, the strong man, how big he is and how does his wife look like. He's like 1/5 of his weight. Both are humans, both would respond differently in terms of protein synthesis. And if you ever hear like one diet that does this to your body, if you only do this one thing, it's bullshit straight away. You can just throw it into garbage straight away because everybody is slightly different. On top of that, you have different tolerances for meat or plant-based food. So for example, some people just seem to tolerate more plants. Some actually get bad response, toxic response from the body. Their bodies, for some reason, is just not, the gut reason, but there's a lot of different factors that will affect how they actually tolerate it. So it's the answer is depends. The one thing that I will say is what's the minimum that you need, and then that it's safe if you overconsume. And what's the real truth behind how much you can actually tolerate, I don't think it's actually relevant, maybe as a curiosity kind of thing, but if we're talking about body transformations, then you need the minimum. If you go a little bit over, it's fine, proceed with your life, right? And there's no real research that states exactly how it is in terms of how much you can tolerate. I would say that it just depends on who you are. It's just different. Like, I will tolerate the intake of protein differently since I'm eating a lot of protein in my life than another person that never did that, right? It might be a different response, basically. So, yeah, cool. Let's proceed. because we will spend here the rest of the day. I want to hop over this section as quickly as possible and go to the training, because I think a lot of people will have a lot of questions over there as well. So cool thing about tracking the calories, okay, is that it's not that complicated. Because once you do use your phone and the scale, and just for a short period in your life, you understand a little bit more of the foods that you're eating, which you will actually track, and that's back to what you asked for, how much fats, carbs, stuff like that. It sounds so confusing. Which diet, like vegetarian, like plant-based, like carnivore, like high protein, low protein, high fat, low fat. There's so many different trends and different opinions, and all of that is confusing for a lot of people. And the only two things that actually matter for, I don't know, maybe 80% of your results, maybe 90% of your results in terms of building muscle and burning fat is only two numbers, okay? And it's amount of proteins that you eat per day, the bricks that your body uses to build new tendons, ligaments, fascial elements, cartilage, and your muscles basically, and the amount of energy that you put into your body. So a lot of people, I mean not a lot of people, but there are some people that think that they're different, that they're some kind of superhuman, that they're different genetics, that no matter how much I eat, I cannot lose weight, stuff like that, right? Like, and they think that like I cannot gain weight. I put 5,000 calories into my body. I'm 60 kilograms. I cannot gain weight. Like it's just all bullshit, right? There's like laws of physics that you cannot just bend or something like that. Amount of calorie you put in versus amount of calorie that goes out. I think a lot of people in this room will know this one. But basically, that's the important part, okay? If you want to build extra body, you need to create environment that is easy for muscles to grow. And that is usually if you have a little bit extra calories. Not too much though, because a lot of people also confuse that with overeating and dirty bulking. A lot of guys just heaps of food into themselves, and then they're surprised they look like a pig. Instead of like rather just slowly go up and down, right? In terms of like body weight and fat and stuff like that. So grams of protein to build your body. If you want a better booty, if you want to tone your legs, if you want to build back, if you want to, for guys, bigger chest, if you want more muscles, the thing that you need to calculate is the proteins and amounts of calories. That's it. So what that means, that everything else is secondary. Like it's your preference. If you want to be plant-based, you're plant-based. It's fine. It doesn't matter in terms of like physique transformation. If I want to be focused on more paleo kind of diet, then I will go with that, and it's also fine, like in terms of results, right? If you want to be vegan, then you can leave the room. No, I'm joking. And basically all that, so whatever diet you think will help you, like I have a lot of clients asking me about the keto diet, low carb diet, so forth, because it's popular. There's trends around social media, right? There's a trend of, for example, eating a lot of fats like butter and stuff like that. Funny note, in Norway a couple of years ago, there was a lack of butter in shops because people started to believe in this trend that went on social media that you need to eat a lot of butter to actually go down in weight. And shops went down to zero with butter, so they had to buy from another country, which is ridiculous. Okay, it's good that they're not afraid of fat, but that's a whole new level, right? Like a whole country just bought up butter. It's crazy. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Cool. So everything else, thank you. Everything else, I hope that's vodka. No.
No calorie vodka.
No calorie vodka. Yes, alcohol has a lot of calories. Yeah, that's it. And also damages how you synthesize your protein. So if you want to drink and transform your body, maybe not the best mix. That's a side note. But yeah, everything else is secondary. And what does it mean? All of what I just said. It means freedom. You can do whatever you want with your nutrition, basically, as long as it is reasonable. And as long as you calculate a little bit in the beginning, just create the system one time, right? Because you will have to eat food the rest of your life every single day. I mean, maybe you will fast a little bit, but basically you being busy entrepreneur, you will always have to have this sorted food. Figure it out one time, learn about it, build a system around it, done. Proceed with your other stuff, right? Like do it one time properly, and then just, you have one body, it will not change radically in the next years. I mean, if you will build more muscle and stuff like that, then sure. But like, apart from that, you have one type of genetics, so just learn about it, do it one time and be done with it. Don't use your whole life about like, I'm trying to lose weight, I'm trying to gain weight, like, just figure it out one time. Cool?
Talk afterwards.
Yeah. Cool, so everything else is secondary, it's personal preference, and if somebody tells you, no, you should eat this or that, this is just opinion, and we all know what we can do with somebody's opinion. We can listen to it or just disregard it, or to put it lightly. And this is it. Cool. So how do you calculate? Atlas, that's for you. So I mentioned that there's new research recently appeared that shows that you actually don't need that many proteins to actually synthesize a lot of muscles. Now, mind you, there's a difference, okay? And let's focus over here for a second. One thing is to hold you like you are, like maintenance. So just keep you alive. That's one amount of protein. But if you want to change it, if you want to build your body, if you want to remodel it a little bit because you're interested in more muscles, less fat, and so forth, you'll need to eat a little bit differently. You need to adjust your food so you transform your body. And in case of building muscle and burning fat, you need to eat more proteins in general. So this number is for that purpose, okay? And if you want to be like healthy in terms of like your ligaments, tendons, and so forth, okay? Cool. So although we don't really need 2 times body weight in kilograms, 1 times in pounds, if you're from States, for example, you will still use it as the baseline because most likely you will not even eat that much. But that's basically like what you will need to cover. That's your minimum. And as long as you do that each day, then you're good. Then you can transform your body quite radically in the next 12 months. Second thing, calorie intake. How do we calculate it? So there's not one way to everybody calculate their calories because we have all different genetics, different size. And as I mentioned, the more muscles you have. So for example, if I have 2 kilograms more muscles than, for example, you, then already this number changes, right? A little bit. If I have different genetics, if I'm a little bit older and so forth, it's a little bit fluid. So it's not possible to say directly what's your calorie intake. That's why you're going to use this system, okay? There's 2 steps to that. Guys, are you still with me? This is some beefy content. Is your focus still here? Yes. Yeah? All right, good. Who's out? Who's like... Just a couple more minutes and we're done with the worst part, okay? And we're going to go through it later on like real quick and it will be like assembled. Hopefully you will connect the dots and like, okay, it's not easy. Hopefully. So second thing is the calorie intake, yeah? So generally speaking, we can use a simplified equation and you will use that to set up the base. And the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, you will adjust what's happening with your body and you will in the end find the right number, okay? Cool?
Yes.
Cool. All right, so maintenance level. You need to understand what does it take, what kind of amount of calories you need to just survive and you're the same, right? You don't go up in weight, you don't go down in weight, you don't go crazy. It's just this is the basics of your, this is the maintenance level. So you take the equation, it's a simplified equation that generally speaking works for like most people, and then we adjust it. So 2.2 times body weight. You can do it on your calculator right now. Let's do it. Grab your phone real quick to keep you awake through this section. All right, everybody grab your phone and use this equation. 2.2 body weight in kilograms. If your mind is still wrapped around like pounds, then do it 1 time that. Whoop. Cool. And that, you got it?
Yes.
No? Times 10 or 12. Now, 10, 11, or 12, why that number, why not something else? Well, it's just mathematics, and I'm not going to go into that. But basically what it means is that if you're 10, and I'm not talking about your attractiveness level, Adam. If you're 10, that means that you're a little bit older, or you think your metabolism is slower, or you're inactive, you're just lazy donut in front of your computer most of the day, which is fine. So that's 10. If you're 12, then it means that you're a bit younger, and you're active, you're fit, and all that stuff, okay? So your body weight times 10 or 12, depending on what you think you are. You can use your phone and calculate that. You guys want to do it? Let's go. You don't see the slides. That's they don't see the slides, man.
They have access. It was their choice.
You guys can come over here if you want to see. In the middle of the presentation, like, fuck.
Did you post it in the group then? Is it there? Yeah. I was right.
All right, let's focus and let's go through this real quick, okay? That's your maintenance level, basically. We good? Guys, we good?
Yes.
Cool. And that's your basic maintenance level. Okay, this is how you calculate it, simplified. for rookies, we don't have to go too much into detail. And that number is your maintenance. On top of that, if you want to build muscle, and you will have to choose build muscle, cut fat, you need to make the decision. Bulk, add 200-300 calories on top of that. Cut, subtract 200-300 calories off of that. Okay? Don't ever go below 1,700 for men, and don't ever follow any type of diet that goes below 1,500 calories for women. Okay, ever. If you ever seen somebody selling something like that, they should be shot. I will explain that later. Like seriously, it's actually a health issue, or like it will damage your health in a way that I will explain in a second. So this is the basic equation for those of you who are curious. And in terms of like macro elements, you ask 2 times body weight, 2 times body weight in terms of proteins is a safe like default. 1 time, I'm talking in kilograms.
Or in pounds.
Yeah, exactly. 2 times body weight in kilograms, 1 time in body weight in pounds. In terms of protein, 2 times in kilograms, 1 time in pounds. Yeah, yeah, I just said that.
So that would be the maintenance, or that would be?
No, that's for the building. That's for building blocks. Yeah, to build you up, to change your physique, to burn fat, to build muscle. Cool. Fat, 1 time your body fat in kilograms, and equivalent of that in fucking pounds. Just do it yourself. I think in kilograms. And in terms of carbs, you just fill up with the rest. 1 carb, 1 gram carb is 4 calories. So let's say that you have calculated that your maintenance is 2,000 calories, for example. You want to build body, so let's say you are 2,000. Now you're 2,300. Okay. Okay. Now you do 2 times your body weight in protein. And what you can do basically is 1 protein. Let's keep it simple, actually. Let's keep it simple, like I said, and stick to the presentation. Count your proteins, count your calories, that's it. It will give you 90% of the results straight away. So forget about carbs and fats, just make sure that you have the right proteins and make sure that you have right calories. And that's it, okay? And if you instinctively go and reach for the fatty foods, it's fine. And if you instinctively reach for carby food, then it's also fine, okay? Are we still in? We still have a little bit of focus?
Yeah.
We're almost done with this section, okay? That's the worst part.
If not, you have to do 20 squats.
Right. That's going to be a lot of squats. No. And then after that, we just adjust it. So each week you measure your weight. You don't focus on your weight. You focus on how it changes. In a second, we'll cover why you don't focus on your weight actually. But we use it as your weight. So basically what happens is that first you start calculating calories. You use the food scale. You calculate your calories. Then you use the 2 numbers, so proteins and calories. And then you observe your body. How does it respond to it? Each one of us is a little bit different. So the upcoming weeks, you're going to adjust it basically. So each week you measure your body. And if when your focus is to build muscle, you gain more than half a kilo or 1 pound a week, then you're going too fast. You're eating too much. And what will result in not more muscles, not necessarily more muscles that you're already building, but definitely more fat % on your body. And you don't need that. So that's dirty bulking. There's no benefit for your muscle growth at that point. So don't go faster than that. And if that happens, if your weight changes from week to week, and you're gaining more than half a kilo or a pound a week, that means that you're going too fast. You need to slow it down, so cut a little bit of calories, and see again after a week how is the results, right? So the optimal is about half a kilo. And then when you're cutting, when you want to trim down on fat, and yes, you need to choose, generally speaking, between those two. Then if you're going too quick, so if you're a little bit on the heavier side, so you definitely have quite a bit to lose, then 1 kilogram or 2 pounds a week is fine. More than that, it's dangerous. It's not smart. It's radical, and it will damage your metabolism. In a second, I will explain more. And if you're already kind of like fit and you're fairly low on fat in general, then that number changes to about half a kilo or 1 pound loss at weight. Okay, you can go even, basically the lower your fat %, the slower you go. Okay, and this is it. Like, congratulations, you've been through the worst. If you can understand and grasp those 3 steps, you will nail like body transformation. And that's as simple as that. So again, you suck it up, you calculate your calories for a while, you track it with a scale, right? You understand that it's only proteins and calories that actually matters, and you figure out what's your favorite foods, what do they contain, and also the amounts of it, so how much what weighs and stuff like that. Then you observe in the next couple of weeks, how is the development of your body. You can use the scale weight to judge if you're on the right track or not, and this is it. And then you just adjust it time to time. After a while, after 3-4 weeks, you stop tracking, because you habitually do use the same foods. It's not necessarily bad to use the same foods. So if you eat constantly the same, it's not necessarily bad, as long as it is complete like palette of food, obviously. And this is it. And from there, you just adjust slightly, because your body, if you build more muscle, then you start to burn more calories. So after a while, you need to adjust it a little bit. But from there, it's actually pretty simple, okay? So if you can understand this thing, that you can transform your body drastically, okay? I mean, like as much muscle as you want, you can build, as much fat you can cut as you want. This is the one and only true way to actually do it, okay? Yeah, so congratulations. That was the most beefy content. Are you still here with the focus?
Yes.
Who's here and who's sleeping?
Here.
All right, good, awesome. Real quick, for those of you who's a little bit confused, what's bulk, cut, maintain? There's a difference between lean bulk and bulk. Okay, boys oftentimes, I'm bulking. They're always bulking. Bulking and lean bulking, what it means is that lean bulk is on purpose. You eat just slightly more than you need, and then you slightly increase your body weight. Not fast, okay? Slightly. And this is why you keep your body fat still low as you gain weight and bulk. There's a lot of dudes that just dirty bulk, put a lot of weight, a lot of fat, and it's just pointless. There's no science behind it. It doesn't necessarily help to develop more muscles or be healthier and stuff. It generally speaks, you're overloading your body with too much nutrition, and it actually, it's funny enough, because longevity and living long, right? There is clear indications that if you, generally speaking, eat less food throughout your life, then you live longer. So there's a balance between eating a lot, or like eating enough and developing the physique you dream of, and also overeating and damaging your body in a sense. So yeah, cool. Lean cut, the same thing. We don't, especially ladies, if you ever did some kind of extreme diet or followed like some kind of fat loss program or some shit like that, it's horrible for your body, much worse than you think. It's for the nervous system, it's for the hormonal system, and so forth. It is damaging to your metabolism, and it's just a terrible idea. It will slow down your metabolism if you go below a certain amount of calories, and later on in your life, it will be super difficult to lose extra fat, and that's why it's so like this yo-yo effect, up and down. Like a lot of people see that they go on a crash diet, they lose weight, they're happy, and then it comes back, and now it's much more difficult to actually lose weight, because it gets more worse if you actually done this one time or two times, like you follow some kind of body weight loss program. Then it gets more difficult to actually drop down on fat later on, right? Especially as you get then older, your body muscles, they generally speaking, you have less of muscles, and now you slow down your metabolism because of your age, and on top of that, and then everything just go to basically, yeah, to a dumpster. So don't ever follow any weird low-calorie diet kind of thing, ever. By the way, one thing. If you think that you have slow metabolism or something like that, you need to learn how to adjust it and how to boost it up. So if you have metabolism where you think like you eat so little but you still cannot lose weight, it's most likely your metabolism is slow. So you need to learn how to improve it. And you do that by building muscle. You do that by lifting heavy shit, because it simulates also hormonal system. And on top of that, which this one may be a little bit shocking to you, but if you want to reduce fat and you have slow metabolism, what you do is you slowly eat more. Who knew that?
How does that make sense?
Of course. Yeah. So it's weird, right? Because you want to try to lose your body fat, but your metabolism is slow, because maybe you never develop more muscles, or maybe just this is your, let's say, genetics, or you followed some kind of crash diet or limited calories whatsoever. Your metabolism slows down. Okay. So the rate at where your body dissects the nutrients into more usable elements. Why do you need to eat more? Is because your body needs to learn that there's more food coming. You don't do it by fucking dropping loads of calories suddenly. You need to slowly increase the calories that you're eating. So let's say that you're used to, let's say you're a female, because mostly females struggle with that, but also guys. Like skinny fat, for example, guys. Skinny but fat at the same time, that's like issue. A lot of guys have that issue, and they want to kind of build the muscle, but they also have a little bit fat, and it's like, what to do right now? They don't know what to choose, right? There is a problem of decision. And if you have problem of decision, then you will never actually succeed, because you're just running around basically like a chicken without a head. So you need to make a decision and attack it from the right angle. And the first thing you need to do if you're skinny fat or a lady that has slow metabolism is that you need to increase it by slowly increasing actually amount of food that your body receives. and times that with weight training mostly, because you need to develop more muscles that will burn more calories. So basically it's like an engine. So you have a little car that is very economical and uses very little fuel, right? That's your metabolism when it's slow. Or you have like Lamborghini V12 that just consumes fuel like crazy, right? So you want that second one, that's the optimal one. You want your body to run freaking quick, like process food real fast and at optimal rate. That's natural, actually. So to do that, you need to build more muscles, because muscles is like this kind of engine which we're talking about. The more muscle you have, the more calories you burn. And the easier it is to stay lean. And also for ladies who are like, I don't want to be bulky, right? We talk about it. Ladies, it is significantly fucking more difficult to be bulky than you think, okay? Some people devote their lives to be bulky, okay? And they don't succeed fully. Like it takes years to be too bulky. Like it's way much more difficult than you think. And you can always hop off the train at the level that you're happy with. That's totally fine. And also if you gain 1 or 2 or 3 kilos, it doesn't necessarily change how you look. The only compliment you will hear that your body is more toned, right? Then more marked, more like fit, like lean figure, right? That's what you will hear, okay? So gain muscle, because then it's easier to burn fat. And it's also just generally healthier for your brain function as well, nerve function, if you have just a little bit more muscles comparing to like if you're extremely skinny. It's not optimal, basically. Cool. So why do we eat more? Because we are teaching body to actually tolerate more food. We actually, body is in starvation mode. It slows down metabolism because it's in starvation mode. It doesn't want to die, basically, right? So it's in genetics, like you cannot change that. So what you can do is you can inform your body that, no, okay, like we're good, we're not going to die, so here's more food. Okay, we're good. And then you stimulate it with more muscles and weight training and boosting the hormonal system, like growth hormone, testosterone, and so forth, as you lift. And then it starts to speed up. And then from V6, little engine, goes to V12 and just burns more and more and more and more and more. What's the best benefit of that is that you can eat more food. More gelato and no more fat. So I myself, you would be surprised how much I eat by the portions. Like I sometimes go crazy and it's still fine. Like I'm pretty like comparing like my fat percent and my muscles. I'm more on the bulky side in terms of that. And then I can just consume a lot of calories and yeah, it's fine. So that's also like a bonus. I'm a foodie too, so I love food. Like that's one of the main reasons why I'm alive. Like seriously, motorcycle rides. Seriously, sex, food. Yeah, we're close to like already finishing the list, but you get me. So yeah, if you want more food, get jacked, okay? Again, cool. Maintenance. What is maintenance? Because a lot of you may be also wondering, is it possible to do recomposition of your body? And by the way, I wrote the full definitions over here. So yeah, you know now what lean bulking is. It's a main focus on building muscle. You will build a little bit of fat. It's fine. You need to suck it up. There's going to be a period where you build that booty, build a bit bigger chest, shoulders, whatsoever. You will gain a little bit of fat, which is just you're creating the environment, the most optimal environment for muscle to just flourish like a plant, right, or something. So basically you need to go a little bit above, but just a little bit above, not crazy, because that's dirty bulking. Lean cutting, the same kind of thing. You don't starve your body and put it into panic mode. You just a little bit too much. So your body has to like a little bit try to like, okay, give me that food. No, you ain't. Well, then it starts to burn the fat, right? So that's the optimal. And if you cut it too hard, then the plane crashes and your metabolism goes to shit. So not recommend. Recomposition. It is in some cases, although not really for the most part, possible to recomposition your body. So you may be more or less the same weight, but you will have more muscles and less fat. Generally speaking, bless you. Generally speaking, you want to choose either of, like either you want to build muscle or you want to cut on fat. But if you're in the beginning or if you've been confused or you have a break or something, then sometimes it's possible to do recomposition. So let's say if you have a little bit extra fat on your body, you want to transform it into muscles, it's possible. What you do then is you don't necessarily add up calories or remove calories, you just hold it, maintain, lift more, eat more proteins, and usually body starts to transform a little bit until a certain point, and then you need to again make a decision. Are you maintaining this body that you're having right now and you're happy, or do you want to explore more muscles, less fat, and so forth, okay? Generally speaking, when you're cutting, you're not going to build muscle, generally speaking. So the best case is you just maintain it. There's some cases that you can still build a little bit of muscle, but it's just not possible. So a lot of guys ask me, is it possible to build muscle and at the same time lose my fat? Yeah, if you're in a recomposition phase, in a way, yes, but generally speaking, we're going to choose one of the options if you want the real, like, visible results, right? So yeah, there's a lot of people that did body transformation, but it took way too long. I'm one of them because I did all the mistakes, so you don't have to, okay? So it also comes not from working hundreds of people only, but also on my own personal experience, okay? Cool, dirty bulking, basically when you just eat a lot because you think like I can eat a lot and because I'm bulking, ice cream, pizza, whatever, all that stuff, totally unnecessary. Also performance of your body drops if you eat dirty. Cool. Yes, so to answer your question, I don't remember your name. You on the phone, what's your name? Peter. Peter.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Peter, is that real name? Peter.
Peter,
Yeah, Peter, yeah. Check.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. Peter. Okay, so just for you, or for other people as well. So basically what you do is you follow those steps that I gave you. And I know it's a little bit freaking, it was beefy. But again, it's simple. You start track, 2 numbers that you follow, proteins, calories. You add it on top of that or you remove, you design a system, that's it, okay? So you do this for 1 or 2, 3 days at first. At first, I recommend just tracking, just seeing, observing what you eat. After 3 days, you start to match that with what you actually need, right? Because you don't want a radical transformation, you want it slowly, right? It goes up slowly, it goes down slowly, always. Never switch it like rapidly, okay? Ever. Because your body just doesn't like it. So what you do is that you basically 1 to 3 days, you try your best to eat perfectly, right? But just for 3 days. And you basically track that shit. And then you adjust it to your lifestyle, meaning maybe we're going to go for 80 to 20%. So basically 80% is perfect and 20% is gelato or like croissant, right? So as long as those calories are still calculated in, then it's fine. So I like ice cream, I like croissants as well. I'll calculate that into my day if I'm unsure, and then as long as it still matches my calories, then we're good. Cool? Cool?
I have a question.
Yes.
So I use this app like Yazoo. I don't know if you know it. Well, it's to track my calories, and it's like connected to my watch.
Okay.
And so like my calories and like proteins and like carbs, the number changed during the day, like depending on like how much I did, like I burned calories, like depending of the workout I did.
Okay.
So like, is it okay if I stay focused on that, or I should more?
So generally speaking, all applications are super imprecise, like incorrect. Like if you have like app and it says you should eat that amount of calories, generally speaking, it's not correct.
Okay.
It's just based on numbers that are very generalized, but you're individual. So it's the same as some people think about BMI as the correct measurement of their, let's say, composition of their body, which is incorrect. BMI is it's a way to run statistics on large groups of people, not on one individual. So
Yeah.
for example, according to BMI, I am overweight, which is not correct. So also the application will also serve you some information that is maybe not correct.
Okay.
So you use the tracker in your phone, but you don't actually trust it.
Okay.
So you just use the function of reading the food and the calories and macros, and that's it. You don't
Okay.
actually believe it.
You're using the app to teach yourself to do it yourself.
Yes, exactly. So you don't believe that the app will not be your teacher, you're your own teacher.
Okay.
Yeah, because in like 9 out of 10 it's wrong.
Oh.
So yeah, don't trust the app itself in terms of like what it tells you should be doing.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Is there some good app that you would recommend for the calorie counting?
So generally speaking, like I
just
just said,
can I snap a picture and just some AI tells me like exact macros?
I think we're entering an age where we will have AI. Yeah,
Okay.
but I don't think it's here yet.
There is no such app in your knowledge that could do this for me?
So basically, like I said, understand the principles, use it as a tool, design the system, and that's it, right?
Okay.
So you don't need app to tell you exactly. You need to learn yourself, and then you will never need app again. That's
but
better.
there are hundreds of foods, man. I mean, we'll talk about it more, but I mean, I tried it. I know all these things that we talk about. I know, but
Yeah.
I mean,
At some point, you will build the
so
library
many
of the food that you need,
Yeah.
and also you will develop this intuition in terms of like different types of food. You will actually more or less guess much better
Okay.
at it. Yeah. So I would still argue that just use the app as a tool, track it, your food. Don't believe what it says you should be doing, for the most part, and see how your body responds. Invest your time and energy for 1 month. The rest of your life is better.
I'm sold, man. Let's do it.
Usually when you have an app that tracks calories, you can also scan like.
Yeah.
You can scan barcodes if you cook your restaurant doesn't have that.
Okay, so let's establish one thing. Restaurants will, generally speaking, give you wrong information about the food they're serving. They don't know that themselves usually. You need to again develop that muscle in your own head. That's what we are talking about over here. Then all of those questions are irrelevant in the end, because you actually do know what you're going to be eating. Even if you go to a restaurant and they serve you a new kind of food, just by like you taste the texture, you kind of like have this feeling that what it is, you know. And after a while, it gets super automatic, and it depends from person to person. But after a while, you have like your own like scanner in your eyes, so it's pretty cool. And then later on, the rest of your life is super easy.
And you use some app for the calorie counting for you?
What?
Do you use some app personally?
Yeah. I use LifeSum. LifeSum.
LifeSwim.
LifeSum.
LifeSum.
Like summary, sum.
LifeSum. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool.
I have a question because you said that do not trust the calorie count on apps.
Mm-hmm.
But don't they use the exact same formula that you showed us to calculate the calorie intake?
No, they don't adjust like you do.
When you put in like all the information, okay, I do this, I have a
like generally speaking, it just doesn't work. Yeah.
And
that's all I can tell you. And also, it doesn't matter because as long as you learn yourself how to track your own food according to your genetics and your preferences and your lifestyle, then that's what actually matters, yes? So you don't want to be dependent on an app anyways.
Yes, okay.
Because you will not always have it.
Yeah.
You will sometimes be in a restaurant or in Bali or somewhere and you'll order food and you don't need always app because you will not have the patience to actually calculate this shit. So you need to have it on an automatic.
Yeah.
Okay, so for example, I use the thing that she said to calculate, and I say like time 12, so I have this amount of calories, and then I stick to it. But for example, I go to the gym and I burn like 800 calories. So do I like just do plus 800?
Yeah, so question is basically, do you eat the calories that you burn extra during the workout, right? So let's say that you go on and lift weights for 1 hour. That's roughly speaking 300, 350, depending on your body size, but let's say that around 300 calories for that. If you, let's say, walk for 1 hour, it's about 400-ish calories, again, depending on your size general. If you do, let's say, Stairmaster for half an hour, that's also 300-400 calories, and so forth. Do you calculate that? Yes.
But that makes a lot of calories.
Yes.
I need
it's
to
fine.
eat
Your metabolism.
I'm like, if I'm not hungry, I still like. I just feel I'm not enough hungry to eat.
You said that you burn 800 calories. That's very difficult.
Well, it depends of
According
the
to
day
app,
because
right?
I was doing the 75 hard challenge. I was doing 2
You're
workouts.
not burning 800 calories, most likely.
So I cannot trust my little watch?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Generally speaking, those are just wrong. I hope that soon as there are more.
So
Yeah, it's generally speaking, it's wrong. Yeah, so that's that. That's the answer. But if let's say that you do burn 800 calories because you're an athlete, let's say I don't know, you're Michael Phelps, you burn 5,000 calories a day, then yes, you have to eat it up. If you want to maintain and build the muscle and so forth. If you will not, then you will basically be in a deficit of calories, yes? And that's if you're in a deficit of calories, you will lose your body weight, body fat, and so forth. So if you don't want to do that, you want to focus on the building, you will eat those calories up. And if you don't want, then yeah, it will just help you to burn, but you should not focus on training as the way of fat loss. The fat loss comes from food, mostly, just food. You need to have basic activity level, you cannot be just sitting on a couch. But basic reducing of fat percent of your body comes not from exercising. If you think that, if you do cardio for that purpose, it's like on a fundamental level, it's just wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can do that, but it's just wrong. It just understand that you're not burning as much calories as you think usually. Like try to go on a Stepmaster for 1 hour, it will rip you apart, and it's like 500 calories.
Yeah.
And then you go and then you eat croissant. And it's like, how is that fair? But it takes way much more than you think to burn some calories. Yeah.
Okay, just a quick time check because we are almost at 2 hours and I think there's
No
still
way.
quite a few things to cover. So why don't we just take a very quick pee-poo break for 5 minutes, and then after that we can continue and
Cool, you guys
we
want
can
that?
discuss how we carry on. Yeah.
All right, cool.
So
Little break.
people attending online, we are going to be back in 5 minutes. We are back. So thank you everyone for waiting on Zoom. So what we are going to be doing is that we have already reached the 2-hour mark, and we are going to finish up the nutrition section. And then after that, we are going to schedule another session for the second part, and that's where we are going to be covering the supplements and exercise and all of that. So we are going to send you home with a bit of homework after this session, and we are going to announce the second session, and we can actually finish up the entire topic about how you can transform your physique without the bullshit. Yeah. So let's carry on.
All right. Sorry guys for that, by the way, that we are going to chop it up.
It's been
like
amazing.
that. But yeah, just a lot of questions, and also I want to make sure that you actually retain that information rather than just that it flows in one of the ears and just flows out of the other one. And I always have this beautiful challenge where I want to just deliver more value, and the art is to actually don't tire somebody who is listening or receiving that. And yeah, sometimes you just have to chop it up. But if you think about physique transformations, it is quite a large topic. And I think even if it takes, let's say, a total of 4 hours, it's still actually quite concise as long as you actually implement those systems. So with that being said, let's just finish up this part over here. Cool. All right, you guys ready over here?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's see. Cool. So basically what I was selling you, the idea and the concept is to simplify your nutrition, develop 1 or 3 days that are of perfect, pretty clean nutrition as long as you follow the 80-20 rule, where 80 is basically eating whole foods and healthy stuff, and 20 is the things that you actually really like. And make sure that in your diet or in your system there's always some little food swaps. So you can always change a chicken for a white fish, you can change a salmon to a steak and so forth. Don't be too rigid with your diet because you will simply not hold it. It's just not possible. And it's actually, they did scientific research on that, showing that those who follow a very rigid diet just simply do not follow through. About 70% just flakes out, which is radical. Cool. So this is what happens when you're following a crush diet, when you follow a very low-calorie diet, okay? So you see this little guy murder the big guy. The big guy is your metabolism. The little guy is your new product for weight loss. This is your new crush diet, basically, that says that you need to reduce your calories quite extremely. Okay, you're just killing absolutely your metabolism, and you will go up in fat just 6 months later or so forth. So do not do that, please. Thank you. Perfect. And from here, what is the biggest misconception of fitness industry?
That is hard to get in shape.
It is hard.
It's not a misconception.
But you need a lot of different kind of theories and strategies
and clarity. Yeah. Bullshit
the theory
information.
itself is, for instance.
Yeah. The strategy is simple. The execution might be difficult due to a consistency problem, right? So that's why what I am teaching, always in preaching, is do not try to be extreme. Do try to modulate basically your lifestyle that you already have, just slightly and slightly more and more, and lean toward the healthier version, because then in the end you do transform truly, permanently, not just for 6 weeks before summer. Question?
I think a misconception, a big one, is that there are shortcuts, because I feel like they're just, when it's not hard, you're probably not changing anything. So what I get from my people, from my friends, from my peers, is that they always are searching for some way of getting a six-pack in a month, or getting this fast and doing this that way. And I feel like there is no shortcut, and I feel like that's what makes it so good, because it is hard to attain. So that's what makes it valuable.
Let's clarify something. It's actually not that hard. It's actually not that complicated. That's what I'm trying to say. It's actually pretty simple. The hard part is when you expect real quick results, real quick. And that's also because we are conditioned to AI algorithms on social media mainly, to train your brain to shorten the focus and expect instant gratification immediately. The reason why we want six-pack is because it's hard to get. So if everybody would get it in 3 weeks, then you would have it and you wouldn't appreciate it, you wouldn't want it. So the reason why you want like better glutes or whatever, is because it's hard to get. Now the strategy is simple. The execution can be easy if you build a system that is built into your like habits, if you create new habits basically. But if you make it easy, as streamlined as possible, so it's as little effort, mental effort. So you, let's say, if you wake up and let's say you told yourself that you're going to drink water in the morning, and you wake up and next to the bed is a big bottle of water, then it's simple to actually do that, right? Because you just wake up, it's right freaking there. If you design a system for nutrition and you know exactly what to eat and you have all the products in your fridge already because you've done 1 week of shopping on Sunday, because you know that this is your now simplified system for nutrition, that on Sundays you do big shopping for the whole week, now you have all the products, how easy it is now to build a nice, quick breakfast that you already know what you need. Let's say 3 eggs, 2 straps of bacon, and let's say 1 half of avocado or something. Like if you already have it, so you make it easy for yourself, right? You streamline the whole process instead of, oh shit, now I have to go get the groceries, right? So it's more about that.
Then I'd like to add that, I mean, the training part is still, like, it is not difficult in the way that you, like, you broken it down. It's easy when you make it easy for yourself. Like, you put in the work in the beginning, you invest, and then you get the dividends, like the analogy you had. But I like to see it for myself as, like, you start to enjoy the difficult parts in the training, like the training to failure and the training hard part. I mean, you still have to train hard to get to the point where you have a jacked body or where you gain muscle mass. You still have to set the...
It's actually not that difficult when you look at down science. Like if you use science, you don't always have to go to failure. Yeah. Your workout doesn't have to be super intense, super crazy. No. It has to be intense enough. It has to be occasionally a bit harder, yes?
Yes.
So you need to stretch the muscle, but it's actually not that crazy. So yeah, simplified. Cool.
Yeah.
Hope that answers your question. Cool. What is the biggest misconception of fitness industry that some of you still believe, unfortunately? Girls? Do you want to go down on weight? Or do you want to reduce the body fat percentage? Difference, big difference in the approach. If you want to reduce your body weight in general, you will follow one of those stupid crash diets that tells you to limit your calories, do tons of cardio, don't necessarily lift, do some yoga and some mobility in the morning, and you're good. You're going to get that fit body, right? Which is a lie. You're not going to get it. I mean, it depends on what physique you're chasing, but generally speaking, if you're looking for a strong physique with enough, nicely shaped muscles and so forth, then it's just simply not going to happen. What you're looking for is actually to reduce body fat percentage, and it's not the same subject. You will not do tons of cardio. You will not starve your body. You will actually, in some cases, you will eat more. You will lift heavy shit that looks manly, and you will not get bulky. Okay, you will not get bulky. It's fucking way much more difficult than you think. It's way much more difficult. It takes forever if you don't know what you're doing, especially. So yeah, those two different concepts, okay? And there's tons of insane amount of social media bullshit, and unfortunately, a lot of people that looks great also propagate those ideas, like for example, total body 10-minute fat burner workout that just doesn't work in reality. The fact that they have beautiful body, for example, and are fit doesn't mean that they got it through showing those exercises that you're being shown. The same as supplements. There's no one magic pill that will target body fat from just belly or something like that. It's not possible. Okay, it's just not going to happen. So again, what's the solution? As you lift weights, you change your diet, and occasionally you will actually, especially for girls, you actually have to eat more. So that's kind of like this misconception. A lot of people still believe that when you want to go down on weight, you need to eat less and do more cardio and so forth. It's not the case. Okay, cool. So again, weight is irrelevant. It's just a tool. It's a measurement way to decide whether your transformation is going into the right direction. It's not the goal in itself. The right thing is the body fat percentage. So for example, over here on this change, on this transformation, you see the difference in kilograms, but you also see the difference in aesthetics. The picture on the right is definitely more shaped body, more strong body, and so forth. Toned down, as you like to say, and yet it's heavier, right? So the body weight is not actually important. We just use it as a measurement tool, okay? Cool, so you can rebuild your body, build muscle, reduce fat, and still weigh more, or the same. So just so you know, and this is the biggest misconception, you will see insane amount of content online that talks about fat burners and stuff like that, like fat burning workouts and so forth, but it's not real, okay? Cool. So as well, yeah, just the difference in basically how much space it takes for 1 or 2 kilos of fat and muscle is a difference. So you may still actually have the same weight even if you look leaner, more toned, and so forth. So it's important to know and remember. Okay, cool. Over here we have the supplements. I think we might save it for later. Interesting. I think it's only on your screen. Not on mine. Interesting. Well, there's, yeah, now it's gone. Cool. So guys, I think we're going to wrap it up over here, okay? The presentation took a bit longer than we think. I want to share with you so much value, it's too much in a sense, but this presentation was split into 2. So after supplements, we're actually going to dive deeper into the way you're going to train, the methodologies, the way you structure your program according to knowledge and of how our body actually works. So the fascial system and the proper way of combining exercises, what exercises to choose, how much to weight, what progressions to use if you're a beginner or if you're intermediate, what you can do to restructure like your program if you're already training and would make it better so you get stronger and leaner and so forth. So a lot of knowledge over there. A little bit over ambitious maybe for this presentation, but we never really put a time frame on it. So here you go. Too much value for you. You can appreciate it. You're welcome. But you'll have to show up second time if you want the good stuff, if you want the good shit. Then you will unfortunately have to find another time where you will share your time and attention with me. And also your focus will be probably better next time. So yeah. Cool. Now, I think we agreed that we will cut it. Yes? People in the room? Yeah, it's going to be good. Next time you're going to see me online. I'm going to be traveling to Norway. Right now I'm on Bali. So we're going to talk online basically. And one more thing that I want to mention over here, and we plan together with Adam something special, and that is to put up basically a coaching group. So if you have more questions, now in terms of training, you will have to wait till the next presentation, but also in terms of nutrition, if you want like a system, if you want to help with transforming your body and physique, I'm going to run a group training basically for people, and some of you one-on-ones if you want it. And it's going to be basically especially for people on this workshop, on this presentation. If you're interested in that,
maybe you can go to the slide where they can see the QR code to scan and they can navigate to the form.
All right, guys. Sorry, you will have to be patient. A lot of slides, I know. So this is the last slide. Over here, you can scan the QR code. You can join the Limitless School community. If you would like, you can also scan the big code above. If you want to fill up a questionnaire, that will help me understand your issue more and basically answer that and help you out and build a system for you especially. So this is basically it. The QR code, the big one, is for the group coaching or one-on-one. It's an application. You will have to fill it up and we'll see if we're a match or not. It's not for everybody, but you can definitely just scan it and see what's inside if you're interested in getting help. And the second code in bottom, join Limitless School community, because there's going to be way much more talks than just me, more speakers than just me. So Adam is building very cool stuff over there. It's already pretty cool, but I think it's just the beginning. So make sure that you scan that code as well and join. And thank you for today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. I think there is no such thing as too much value. I think this has been incredible, and I think I'm speaking on everybody's behalf. So thank you so much for that. And yes, we are going to be scheduling another session where we are going to continue with this topic.
So just maybe so people know, the next one is super focused on the training, and not only like how to train to like transform your physique, but also on functionality and health. So it's super understand to like how to stimulate your body so you correct your posture, so you maximize your gains, but also how to connect with the with different parts of your body, because a lot of people have this thing that they choose their only favorite like exercises and the movement is not correct. So important to like kind of like underline that it's going to be pretty beefy as well, although I think a little bit easier to digest.
Yeah, thank you so much for clarifying that. And also big shout out to Lost Creator House. We are live streaming from LCH. This was the first ever live stream for the Lost Creator Academy as well. So thank you so much for sponsoring the venue. And we are going to be doing more of this kind of stuff. I think that's a wrap. Thanks again. Also, the guys joined online. I'm going to see you next time.